I am in a dress. I have gel in my hair. I haven't slept all night. I'm starved and I'm armed. Don't mess with me. I should also admit I have had my license revoked. For what? Speeding. And if you ask me when I fell in love with you, well, Eric, it was while you were sleeping.
All right, so let's get into this. The first movie we're going to do is this.
Officer! Officer!
What's on your mind, Harry?
Shit, I want to. Officer!
It's like she's just. I feel like this is one of the. If you don't know what this is, it's Speed. If you couldn't tell with Keanu in there, but she's just. I don't know, her maniacal sweetness in this, and there's the anxiety fuel. I mean, Speed is. I mean, what an extreme plot line. Such a 90s plot line of a explosive on a bus, can't go below 50 miles an hour, and let's just high speed chase this entire time. But she was this through line throughout all of it, that if it was just Keanu and a bunch of people on the bus that you didn't know, it wouldn't have been great. But she anchored the machismo, like I said, of like Keanu, and grounded that you had this real person that could be your next door neighbor on the bus, and that's how you would be. It's just riddled with anxiety. Officer! Like, it's just so funny.
You know, relationships that start under intense circumstances, they never last.
What I love about her, and she does this in other movies too, that unassuming jokester turns into a leader.
Yes.
And someone that will do everything for you. Like, this movie has so many different elements. Like, I forgot it wasn't just on the bus.
Yeah.
The beginning's pretty intense, then there's the bus, and even the ending's intense.
Yeah.
But you see Sandy as she's sitting in the bus seat, like joking and laughing, and then when, spoiler alert, when someone chooses to try and get off the bus, something bad happens, and then they just camera to her face. Yeah. And it got really real.
Yeah.
And intense.
Because like Keanu, sorry, Mr. Reeves, but I feel like that time in his career, he couldn't sell that.
Right.
If the camera would have panned to him, you wouldn't have felt it.
No way.
Yes way!
She's an incredible bus driver.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, she's driving this thing on the highway around the airport. Like, just like I ride the city bus for my job, and it's one job I couldn't do.
Growing up in our era, everybody knows Magic School Bus. So you have Professor Frizzle, who was like considered the most extreme bus driver of that era, but Sandy, come on. I feel like in Speed, she is now the, christened the most extreme bus driver in retro history.
This is my thank you cam. Is this thing on?
This next one is it's a little bit of a wild card that David and I are curious the amount of listeners that we might lose by including this in Sandy's top 5. But here we go.
Wait for me. Wait with me. Just wait. Wait.
That's such a crazy scene, and it still gives me chills. Like, and it's just like, make fun of me all you want, people that don't like the lake house. But that is, I will stand by it. I will stand by the fact that this is a great film, and it deserves to be in Sandy's top 5. Come at me.
I come at you with the fact that I'll watch it with you. I love the lake house.
You complete me.
I love this movie because I think you'd agree there's whimsy to it.
Absolutely.
There's romance and whimsy. That is just really good. Just an incredible house. I always remember being jealous of that house.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I would love to have a lake house look like that. It was quite a pivot in character for both Sandy and Keanu, especially coming off of the Speed, as their last film together. But there is part of me that when I was rewatching this, I'm like, oh, this should be called Speed 3, the Airbnb with a time-traveling mailbox. I feel like it's an appropriate leap from Speed 2 Cruise Control,
If you haven't seen The Lake House, still watch it, but you kind of know the ending. How great is this if, as he gets hit by the bus in the multiverse, Sandy's driving that bus and it's Speed, and young Keanu Reeves is like, whoa, and sorry, we couldn't stop. Do you think they wrote that in there? Like, was there any Speed Easter egg? Well, let's just have him get hit by a bus. That'll be great.
I can tell you right now, I'm gonna try my best to edit that in our YouTube channel. I feel like that's a scene that needs to be saw.
Ma'am, up to the right.
Okay. I see it.
This is much better.
All right. So, yeah, David and I, we were going to end on Lake House as kind of like a sticking it to listeners who don't like it. But instead, we're going to end with what we feel like kind of is like Sandra Bullock's like pinnacle retro movie. So here we go.
I fell in love with you.
You fell in love with me?
No, yes, all of you.
This whole movie, while you were sleeping, this whole movie has such intimate and sweet moments like that. But then you have all these side characters like the dad and the aunts and the moms and the sisters and that whole scene of her finally admitting that she lied. She's like, the dad's like, you fell in love with me?
Right.
It's so good. This movie just screams charm.
You're rooting for, I think that's a thing. We're always rooting for Sandra Bullock
Yeah.
in any movie. And in this one especially, she's again wearing maybe the oversized sweaters and her
Yeah.
hair is frizzy. And like how that
You got to
must be
say
the
it the way
hardest
Joe
thing.
Fusco Jr. says it. He's a nice sweater.
Yeah. He's hilarious in this too. 8 o'clock. Ice capades.
I got a guy. Ice capades. I feel like there's a multiverse where they end up together.
Oh, I hope so. And I hope that she still lets him try on her shoes.
Yeah.
I hope that exists,
I know karate.
She just was like, she was a normal person.
Yeah, right.
But she's incredibly attractive. So it's like, how do I think that had been one of the hardest hardest jobs for someone to do, to make her look like one of us.
One of us schmoes, yeah. And I feel like Bill Pullman gives Keanu a run for his money as a on-screen companion to Sandy. Like, I feel like he kind of actually edges out Keanu in that
Ooh.
realm, because I thought his charm, his wit, his humor matched Sandra's.
I was a little worried that you were gonna put Bill Pullman's face over Keanu Reeves. Now though, I realize you're gonna put your face over Bill Pullman and Keanu Reeves. It's just gonna be you and Sandy, and I'm gonna
Sandy.
you'll Photoshop me just kind of looking in through the glass house on the lake house, just kind of like peering out there, watching you two just pass mail to each other. You can do all that, I think, on Photoshop.
Yeah.
But